Alrighty, recording should be on. Welcome everyone. Today is the 10th of June 2024. This is the bi-weekly Model Registry meeting. As usual, we run these meetings and we make available the recording as well later for people who can join. We have an agenda that is open for everybody to other topics. Mainly today is follow-ups items on things that we've been keeping tabs for a few things. Just as a reminder for everybody in the meeting today, the meeting is being recorded and we adhere as well to the CNCF Code of Conduct. Righty, so diving right in, was going through the Kubeflow 1.9 Model Registry roadmap thingy. I think that what I wanted to do as well was to flag these network policy things as done. Thanks as well both to Julius and to Ricardo for following up on these. Also as well for the double eyes from Andrea. So with that one, while also have Ricardo here, at least in my understanding, we have sort of like no other pending action item for manifest or thinking of manifest. Just for completeness, I think that it was in the that with the last one changes, we have as well added to the model registry test here, not only just the usual setup of the manifest that doesn't fail, the conditions on the Kubernetes resources were already checked. Here, there are added a couple of tests. One is the one which is manually, sort of like it is an automation of the test that we present in the Kubeflow website as a sort of like the dry run of the REST API. And the second one is the one going through the Istio gateway. So it's following a similar strategy for Kserve M2M, so that at least we can be sure that being in the same setup for the GHS test, not only that we have our resources are being applied correctly and they are reported as available, but as well just interacting with the REST API in the way that the users could do. So while I have you here, Ricardo, I just wanted to follow up with you that sort of like there is not on the radar any other items for the manifest point of view for Model Registry for Kubeflow 1.9.
Yeah, I guess not. Still, I think you got the topic about the distribution testing. We're still waiting for people to get some updates on the distribution testing. So far, we did not get any bug reports from the Model Registry side, but we'll keep watching other distributions to see if there are any comments or something that could be related to Model Registry, and then I'll update you on that.
Awesome. Thanks, Ricardo. On that note, the only conversation I noted, but also I wanted to wait for the meeting just also to thank as well with you, Ramesh, because last time we noted this action item to check the Model Registry with the 1.9 RC0, because at the time we just had it this one available. I think that with the conversation that we had with the folks here, so this Tian, who seems like a contributor, or sorry, another Kubeflow user, while I've tested on Minikube, this person reported that they were testing it with Kubeflow 1.9 RC1 and micro Kubernetes 128.9, I believe, on Ubuntu. So I think that we can close this issue right now, and eventually, let's say, it will be more of a matter to sort of like having dry runs on the manifest as soon as they come available. But as I was just showing earlier as well, what we have is that the GHS test, these are directly in the Kubeflow manifest, so we can eventually run these ones when we need it. That will basically do not a full comprehensive one-to-one demo, sorry, an end-to-end demo, but at least does some basic sanity checking that the REST API is available, it's reachable, and it's doing the connection. What do you think, Ramesh? Can we close this issue right now, or do you want me to create a new one?
You can close this one, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I think maybe one suggestion I have, Matthew, is collecting these nuances of different environments, bringing in a some kind of a document, or on our upstream documentation, right? Hey, if you are using, if maybe I don't know, I don't, it sounds like a distribution, right? Once you start saying, oh, if you want to use the micro cube, use this, and mini cube, use this kind of, but somehow, I don't want to explode on the manifest side of it, but somehow we can bring the attention of the user to, hey, if you are doing this, we know about this quirk, do this to fix it.
Yeah, it's a good suggestion. Actually, I was thinking about it. I think that I'm also aligned with you. I don't want to sort of like a scope creep into things that are for manifest or distribution. The thing that I noted, for instance, is that one thing that interacting with these users I've noticed is that I could let me just point it out. That thing is like here, for instance, like I didn't have an example instructions on how to run the REST API inside of the notebook, because right now on the website, what we have is that so components, Model Registry, during the installation, there is a sort of like the right run check. This one is done. I'm planning to add the one for the Istio mesh that we discussed, but also as well, I was thinking that since I was dealing with this user, what I realized is that I can also add some instruction for doing that inside of a notebook. So sort of, because at times is like the problem lies when you are outside the cluster. So just showing the user on how to do that from a notebook, I think it would be sort of like a good dry run check. And so
I would even go for a little further there, Material, and even provide a sample notebook.
yeah.
Right? Yeah, I mean, you are doing all the work in the document anyway, so just I've seen the people documenting the giving the notebook as the document, right? Maybe something like that.
Yeah, there is some merit to that. I think that is more, maybe it's like I can do that for the getting started, since we have something like that. So it's like maybe I can do the notebook sort of like realize this page as a Python notebook. Definitely, I think it makes more sense, because here when you are in the installation, I expect that some people will be like, some will be cluster administrator, kind of like playing the MLOps role. Other can be more data scientists. So here I would like to still focus on like, just giving you the glimpse to make sure that is installed correctly. And then, as you say, I think this is a good idea. I mean, providing the notebook as a full example, this could be a good idea for this section. It's like, it's like if you want to try, this is a notebook that follows the same steps. Okie dokie.
I mean, that may be also a good example for you, because you were talking also before about hey, how can we deploy this, the inference one, right? That could be a good example to provide, hey, here is change this model location, and it could, the inference one, that would be.
Yeah, here is doing this one.
Right, after the manifest install, run this. Here is the instructions to deploy from your notebook, kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe it's like I can indeed sort of like revamp a little bit this page with a notebook.
Okay, that sounds good.
So today is the 10th, he said. So this issue, so we have a list to different environment tested with flow 1.9 RCs. two different Kubernetes environment. We will open new ones if a specific issue or dot with the item. So we close this one. And then I can go back here. And okay, so I think that we are mostly done with this part as well. Okay, so just it's like I think that this Istio part is related to what Ricardo was mentioning in the earlier meeting. It's like they are updating the Istio versions in the general manifest, so it will be a matter to make sure to retest the resources related to Istio as the new version comes onboarded in the 1.9 RC's versions. And yeah, I mean, the rest is mainly cosmetics for docs. It would be nice if we have them, but at the same time, I don't think that they are of any blockers. So unless somebody has any other comments, I think that we can move on to the next item. Or I don't see any raised hand for the previous point. So here with Andrea, we've also been discussing this a bit offline. The last time there was maybe some suggestion that the custom storage initializer example that we have on the Kubeflow Model Registry repo, for those also maybe watching the recording, we are speaking about this example that is made here. We identified a couple of key maybe integration things. Is like maybe making some making it as part of the GitHub Actions tab being tested, so that we can ensure that the things is working as expected. And yeah, so Andrea, I don't know if you wanted to add any other point on this follow-up item.
No, I think you already said the main important part that is related to ensure that is actually working with the latest or the current main branch of the model registry, because when I added this section was working with let's say what we had before, so we should just follow up and check if everything is already working, is still working as expected. I mean, I'm not expecting any change because we didn't change the API for creating, for retrieving registered model version, and model artifacts. So I'm not expecting big changes there. As you said, we could automate some small end-to-end tests or kind tests in the GitHub action to ensure the CSI is working as expected with the model registry branch that we are testing. And the main other part is related to the website that we have. I mean, the Kserve website part on the custom storage initializer, that when I wrote the example, we didn't have yet, let's say, a published model registry version on Kubeflow. So I think that we can slightly improve this website, trying to reference some, let's say, concrete version of Kubeflow Model Registry, or even if we want, we can also tag a version of the CSI and provide a simple example that user can use without having to build their own CSI. Because here I, let's say, put a sort of step-by-step instructions that, let's say, instruct users how to create a custom storage initializer for a model registry. But given that right now we have a Kubeflow model registry, we can, for instance, tag a simple version of CSI. Just an example. We don't have to maintain it, to be honest, but just to give a ready-to-use example of a custom storage initializer that user can simply deploy in the Kubernetes environment and use it. without having to build anything from scratch or whatever. Because, for instance, if I correctly remember here, I was referencing some sort of ABC container image. Yeah, ABC/model registry storage initializer, which was just a placeholder, actually. We can replace it with what we are going to tag, such that user can actually try the example.
Yeah, I would even suggest going as far as, maybe, I don't know, can we use an image from a model image from like a Hugging Face or something? And
I think that here is like what we can do for this part is that we can have first from the model registry CSI push a compile the container image of the CSI to Docker Hub, because this is so far the official things. And then I think that Andrea can propose to replace this one with that version.
Yeah, okay, I see. It's a Docker image.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Because actually, for the, let's say, getting started guide, we already have it in the Model Registry CSI folder. There is already a sort of tutorial that user can follow to open the get started markdown. Yeah, this one. There is already a sort of step-by-step tutorial that is simply following the same K-serve tutorial, but instead of creating an inference service with the real path to the model, it is using the model registry specific URI.
Yeah, this is a great, in my opinion, this would be a great blog post, or you need to pull this one up into where you have written your documentation material, right? Something like this, because people, if I am a Kubeflow user coming in and wanting to use Model Registry, this is what I want to know. Rest of everything is, what we do is nice, but right now without the UI, I think pulling something like this up and showing them, a couple different ways of, you have one example, right? How to deploy. This would be another example. Hey, you could use a different way and be less decoupled way of doing it. So that would be great.
Andrea can update the document. Is there inside Matteo to follow up the great example in the Kubeflow website? Registry the stuff with something like that, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. All right. So, Andrea, do you need any specifics from me to sort of like integrate this one for publishing an image? Do you think eventually throughout the next few sort of like iterations, you could dedicate some time to try to do so? Do you want to maybe or instead record an issue with the sort of like the high level points and then somebody else can take it? How do you feel?
I think that I do have some cycles in the upcoming weeks. So I think that before the next bi-weekly meeting, I think I can have something, let's say, ready or at least started, let's say. I don't think I need anything else. I'm expecting that I can follow what you already did for the Model Registry push.
Yeah.
So I think I will, let's say, follow the same configuration that you did. And in any case, I will open a draft PR and maybe we can discuss there if there is any issue.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, the idea could be that as well, if you sort of like, even if you don't have the time to spend the cycles, my suggestion would be try to log an issue about the task that you plan to do. So
yeah.
it's like, with just a high level instruction, so that in the case you get you don't have the bandwidth to work on this one, because we appreciate your help, but we can understand your contribution can be limited. It's like we can have somebody take over from, say, where you left off, or I can integrate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would create an issue anyway, but I need to check because I suspect that there is already a partial issue that I created in the past, but I can do that offline. No rush right now.
Right. Yeah. I just wanted to take note, just the sort of like high level plan.
Yeah.
All righty. Anything else, Andrea, on this point? Yeah.
I think it's all from my side.
Okay. Thank you so much, Andrea. Right. So moving on, also I saw that you connected here. I just wanted to maybe nice to have you back here. I was just wondering if you had some update. Did you had any chance to follow up on the thing that we were discussing during the last meeting? Do you want to share any update for the group, or if not, we can do it another time?
Yes, I have do my research on my side. So I update the content in the issue I created, I think. But right now it's like the major problem is like the MFlow didn't offer a HTTP link to download the model.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's the issue that when the user they're transferring want to register the model from the MLflow, they have to use the MLflow API or their Python package to download the model artifact, the pickle file or Onyx file. I think that's the issue, because currently or in the recent demo that I can find when we training a model from the scratch, and then use the model registries to upload that model to our S3 bucket. But can we force the user to use the S3 bucket, or likewise other storage service when they are transferring their model from the MLflow? Just the MLflow, I checked their community and the document, and it shows that they have to use at least some other package, or the MLflow package itself to use the model register in the MLflow server.
Okay. So the question, if I understand correctly, is it acceptable that as an import step, the function would download from MLflow to S3 or if I could write today. Storage.
Yes.
So here is so for one consideration, just very early from my end to consider. I think that well, one answer could be yes, because in that way, sort of you could say, all right, so if we choose a target storage that is more sort of adherent to what Kubeflow offers out of the box, we can piggyback on that one as a strategy. So to say, look, this is a blueprint that we can offer, but of course we want to keep our options open. I think an important consideration to be done here is that we should look if there are any integration examples on how Kserve would play in this scenario. So what I'm thinking of is that if I am a user using MLflow and using Kserve, not necessarily with Kubeflow, but just in general, MLflow and Kserve, I think that at some point I will need to deploy the model that is currently indexed on MLflow. So I think that what could be the case here is that if we have sort of a blueprint that is available in the sort of in the market at large, where this solution is already defined, then we can see the details about that, so that we can see how this topic would fit in that scenario. If there is not, and yeah, I just finish the preamble and then I'll let you back. So if it is not,
No, I'm not trying to speak.
okay,
Sorry.
sorry. No, it's
It's a
all right.
cough.
Yeah, is like, because otherwise we can apply the same similar strategy to what Andrea was showing earlier with the custom storage initializer. What I mean by that is that there could be that we could store in Model Registry a link to an ML flow that is not recognized sort of like in general, but a custom storage initializer could do. Andrea, just a quick question here, if I may. If I remember correctly, is it possible to chain those resolution links? What I mean by that is that if I have an inference service in Kserve that has, say, model registry column slash an index, and then I have in the model registry something which is not directly an HTTP or something like that, can I specify just a collection of these? I mean, does it work iteratively, right?
I'm not that sure I follow what you are saying. I mean, what do you mean that is going to?
I can give you an example. So the point
can I interpret this so that I understood the same way too? So are you saying, Matteo, like if a user comes to TSI and defines model registry there, so in you are saying that chain multiple different storage locations, may that be, our own model registry with the S3, let's say, or going to a Hugging Face or a ML flow retroactively, based on the chain defined by your implementation?
Closer, but I'm not. I will try
Okay.
to give an example. So I'll take it back from what Leo was mentioning earlier. It's like, since that there is no URL, an HTTP like a raw URL that we can use to load the model from MLflow. This is what I understand the thing that Leo was mentioning, and I think that
I don't. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that, Matteo, because Luke, correct me if I'm wrong. Even in MLflow, right, when you are storing a model, you've got like a couple of options, right? You can either store it locally, or you can have MLflow, designate a certain S3, store as the default store, right? So there's still, some location, right, where the model resides. MLflow itself, what I'm trying to say is MLflow itself doesn't have, some kind of like private store or something that it hides from the world.
Yes. It can like select the preferred like storage and like store things, like stored artifacts. But the link you get from the MLflow API call, like the register model is there, like kind of like started with like MLflow, like something like start with like something like /MLflow/ something, and then like kind of like an experiment ID and a run ID. But like you can definitely, like, if you like the user is like running, like set their MLflow storage, MLflow's main storage as S3, you can like use that kind of info like to like concat like the run ID and like the experiment ID, like to directly get something from the S3. That's for sure. But like we need to consider like if it's like using like the server side like local storage, that is not possible.
If it's just running a file system,
in the default setup.
right. Yeah, but that's not an ideal use case for a model registry anyway, because the idea with model registry is that you are sharing information, right? So MLflow allows you to run in this local development deployment model, right? Where everything is just local to your machine. Model registry, on the other hand, is built more for like, sharing. So yeah, theoretically, you could point, for example, the URI could just be, like the local file URI or something on your development machine. You know what I mean? It could just be, C
Yes.
drive, whatever on a Windows machine or something, and you can stick that in model registry and pretend that, you can access it, but it's only accessible on your local machine, right? So
Yes.
the logical model we have about, using URIs to point to where the model lives still holds. It's just not very useful, right? Because you're just locally doing it on your machine.
Yes. So that comes to the issue, like come to the question that like the how like the user are using MFlow.
Yeah. Yeah. So that local deployment model, you know, model registry is not really suited for that because, it's a Kubernetes service, you- it's not designed to be run locally as a, process on your laptop without like a Kubernetes cluster or anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
But
so
I'm
so we expect
like
you
so
to, user to have like a shared S3 or OCI, registry store or something where they are sharing all their models and so on, like in a team development environment or something.
I see, I see. So, but like from my personal like, experience, like the our first work, so like the way we using MLflow is like we use the MLflow that integrated with the Azure Databricks. So they're like the thing is like kind of like just the main storage is in the DBFS and it's
Yeah,
also like
right,
hard to like directly access it like outside something.
right. So you still can't access like those experiments and runs directly, right? You still have
Yes,
to,
but it's like yes, it's need like dedicated work to concat like the link for like kind of like the Azure
right,
Blob storage or like S3. Yeah.
right. Is there like an MLflow API that allows you to export the data or something? Like if you want to move it to an S3 bucket later, I can't remember whether I saw that or not in MLflow.
I'm not sure, but like it seems like it's like company like it's managing itself with its server and it's if you like
Yeah,
you can definitely need to do some like string concat
right,
and like to get things like directly out from the file system.
right. Maybe, there's room for us to provide like some kind of helper APIs or something with Python that can, take MLflow information and, grab that data or, provide you like a URL that you can use in model registry or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, the local development use case is, I'm not sure, how suitable that is or, how suitable model registry is for that environment, Because for local development with MLflow, you can just start a process, the MLflow server process, and you're done, right? But with model registry, you need a Kubernetes cluster, and to start the apply the model registry manifests and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah, I see.
Maybe a suggestion here would be then to sort of like have a two-pronged approach. One thing is this one to try to understand if there is a way, excluding sort of like putting off the table the local development flow, as you guys were discussing, is like to see if there is a way then to have a utility function be developed if there is not already existing for exporting data or migrating data for MLflow. So this
Yeah,
would be one option. Another option, though, as well, is that, and this is what I was thinking, is that the scope for this is to migrate data from MLflow to Model Registry. And by data here, I mean more the metadata. If we
right.
needed to suggest a user to first export the data to S3, I think that eventually can be an option on the table. What I was
Mhm.
more thinking is that I put myself in the shoes of somebody who is migrating from MLflow to Model Registry and then using Model Registry for, say, new version, new stuff, right? So maybe what
Yeah,
we can do is that if at least the MLflow client can give me sort of like a pointer where if I use the MLflow client and I have this reference, I can download the asset. What I can do is that I can have a model registry, a URI scheme that we define, and we define another custom storage initializer, which uses
for MLflow store.
yes.
Mm.
And so that
Interesting.
like for those model registry entries, they will be like, it's like these are migrated. So we're having the pointers to the old kind of like registry, in this case MLflow. And so like if you deploy that one, the custom storage initializer for this new scheme will kick in like it is another kind of version of S3, but we are using the MLflow client. And then sort of like this could work for sort of like migrating old versions. Of course, going forward for new version, in that scenario, I will still advise the user, hey, first save it to S3, OCI, whatever, and then register it directly in Kubeflow model registry.
Yeah, there are like a couple of options.
Mm. All righty. So may I ask, Leo, if you have the time, could you maybe probe a bit more to understand sort of like putting the local development flow with MLflow off the table? Is like if there is a way to retrieve the scheme, but at the same time see if other people have been using MLflow with Kserve, because it could be helpful intel so that the next time we can discuss bit one in more details. How does it feel like? Do you think it's a good way to moving forward?
Sure.
Okay. To be investigated if there is a way to build the routine above. Say there are from an S3 custom needs for an flow, or to be investigate and to be investigated if users if there are blueprints of MLflow with a caser code. We define our own MLflow scheme class is well. So I think this sort of like is the way at least that I see. So of course I think that we still have many options on the table, and eventually with more intel we can decide on it later. Cool. Is there any other points, Leo, that you wanted to share with the team?
Yes, I do find something like there's like document intercaser that like let people directly use the model from the MLflow, but it's just like there's like a middle package called ML server.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's like kind of like people are like registering, like in the example, like document like there's like using a ML server / MLflow, like it's a yeah, so it's a like some package like I can share the document.
Mhm.
Yeah. Chat. Yeah. Yes, so this is a document that in their like example document they're using a third package called ML server and to register that.
Yeah, but here.
And like the
okay.
yes.
What is GS here?
Yeah, this is Google Storage. Is like the S3 for Google Cloud. No, sorry.
Yeah, I think there's also like a storage link. So, but like the storage link should be like generated by the ML server, I think.
Sorry, just a second. I want to check.
I think it's like pretty much the same. Sorry.
Yeah, GS. So it's the S3 of Google. So what I would like to understand here,
But it's like kind of like the in case of they ultimately want to like uploading something into the storage server.
your bars, we are tracking your eye. Yeah, so maybe it's like
Yeah.
Because what I would expect is that later this bucket will contain this thing, and they are using the model format MLflow to derive the attributes by using this Conda YAML and ML model. So, but what I don't know is how do you get from using MLflow to something like this?
Yeah.
Because here seems to me that it's
Yeah. This is like the thing
That-
like I was trying to like continue to
that seems
explore.
to be the internal magic, right?
Yeah, but I think that it's
Yeah,
not.
I think it's the ML server does this.
Yeah, but I think that is like this is just we are getting a bit sort of like confused because they speak about MLflow, but we are meaning actually two different things. One is here kserv is speaking about the MLflow format for runtime. So let's say that if I have a package which is like this one, then kserv is able to make it the model to run. While what I'm more interested with is the MLflow registry part. So it's like where this thing is being already persisted somewhere, because
Okay, I see.
I'm pretty positive that what they did here is that they used MLflow to define the package, then they have uploaded that one to Google Cloud Storage, but we are not in the same case that we were discussing it. I mean, it's still good information to know, so that at least this one is mentioned. But basically, what I would like to understand is in MLflow, if they register this one with the MLflow registry, if there is a way to download this, because then we can really pass it along as a format for execution, for running, for inference, I think.
Okay, I understand.
No, but thank you very much. I didn't notice that there was also the supported runtime here. Alrighty. Anything more, Leo, that you wanted to add?
No.
Okay, no, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Thank you for keeping tabs on this activity. And it's like you can find us on Slack anytime if you have any question throughout the days.
Yeah, I was like having some interviews like pretty busy for recent weeks, so there's no too much progress. Yeah.
No worries. We appreciate your contribution, and indeed, since that we are not tied to a Google Cloud, for a moment, Summer also for me, Google Summer of Code. So I think that we can use this venue to just have our developments done. Thank you for the update, Leo. Much appreciated. All righty. So unless there is any final item, Ramesh, do you have any last minute item that you wanted to add, or otherwise, I think that we can cut the meeting 10 minutes early, or if there is anybody that has any final question.
The only thing thing I would suggest Matthew and Dheeraj, Andrea, all you guys is I would start for you guys to thinking beyond 1.9 because we have not done any. We have some proposed when we started. We have done some proposals in our proposal as to what we will do, but we have not put any work or thought into that. I would recommend this probably is the time as we are getting closer to 1.9. How and also I would have liked the participation from our UI effort that is going on. Maybe we can encourage them to start attending these calls to bring along with the community. But yeah, I'd love to see a little bit more on that. And I know you've been doing some OCI based ones. Then maybe how we can bring those efforts into, even if it is not a cohesive, but here is a recipe kind of a way. Hey, here is you run these commands and run these commands. And I mean, we talked a lot about just with the ML flow, but let's say if I shift the conversation to, hey, if it is an OCI storage, how could you use that? It's same exact thing, right? It applies to us. So that may be something anybody interested, can work with you and generate that outside part of it, right? Or you can think those would be my recommendations.
No, makes a lot of sense. And by the way, I know that there, unfortunately, let's say the last bi-weekly it was also a national holiday in the US, and this week is traveling. But otherwise, I think that I'm just keeping tabs with other, and regardless. So definitely UI will be for 1.10 or some form of UI, I think. And then indeed we can have try to follow up item. So by adding it here, I will make sure to carry over to the next meeting. We can consider some other topics, as you rightly mentioned, Ramesh, most definitely.
Also, we can highlight Chanakya's work on MLMD here. I've not seen some of it, so he's doing great work towards some MLMD updates. So maybe we can talk about it next time. Or maybe you can give a brief update on where you are, Chanakya, and then we can probably follow up next time.
Sure. Thank you, Ramesh. So I've been working on building MLMD with Postgres with the OpenSSL flag. So that's working now, and I've also tested it out with the Model Registry operator with a secure database. And another task I've been working on is verifying the cross-compilation of MLMD, because there has been issues where MLMD does not get built on ARM computers. So I reviewed Matthew's PR, and I've been able to understand what it's doing, and we're hoping to add that into the midstream Open Data Hub's MLMD repo.
Yeah, thank you so much for your efforts on that, Chanakya. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All righty. So I think that we have, thank you for everybody for your participation and your contribution. Again, as Ramesh mentioned, very much appreciated. And I think that I can give you back 10 minutes, and I will see you then in 2 weeks. Thank you.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.